Okay, let's go.
Self-doubt. We all feel it, right? It's that nagging voice in the back of your head. But what if I told you it's not just some big, messy blob of worry? Today, we're going to do a masterclass on self-doubt. We're not just going to talk about what it is, but we're going to get super specific on what drives it for you so you can finally start moving past it.
Just think about that for a second. What if that one thing you are convinced is holding you back? What if it isn't even real? What if it's just a ghost, a story that you've been telling yourself for years?
To really get this, we actually need to jump back in time to the 1970s. There was this fascinating and honestly kind of bizarre experiment that perfectly shows how powerful these stories can be.
Okay, so check this out. Researchers brought people in and used makeup to draw a huge, gnarly-looking scar on their faces. They made sure the participants got a good look in the mirror. Then, as they were applying a moisturizing cream to set the makeup, they secretly wiped the scar completely off. And here's the wild part. The participants, who had no idea the scar was gone, went into these social situations and came back saying, "Wow, people were so judgmental. They treated me so poorly." The scar wasn't there, but the belief that it was there, that completely changed their reality.
And that experiment, well, it brings us to the invisible scars that we all carry around. You know, those limiting beliefs we have about ourselves? These beliefs are what create our self-image. And that self-image? That's the real engine driving our self-doubt.
So, what exactly is a self-image? Think of it like an internal blueprint. It's the collection of beliefs you hold about who you are. And this blueprint, it dictates everything. How you expect people to treat you, what you think you can achieve, and here's the most important part. Unlike a vague feeling of doubt, your self-image can actually be measured.
In fact, decades of research tell us that our self-image is built on 4 measurable pillars: acceptance, agency, autonomy, and adaptability. When any one of these is shaky, it becomes a major source of your self-doubt. So let's play detective. Let's figure out which one might be your biggest issue so you can actually start to fix it.
Okay, let's dive into the first one. And honestly, it's the foundation for everything else: acceptance. Now, a struggle with this isn't about your skills or your talents. It's about your fundamental feeling of value and worthiness as a person.
Do any of these sound a little familiar? If you have low self-acceptance, you might feel this constant pressure to prove yourself, always chasing that next compliment. Or maybe you do this weird thing where you sabotage your own success because deep down you just don't feel like you deserve it. You might even get a secret little thrill when you see others fail. Or maybe you're a chronic people pleaser, always wearing a mask to fit in. These are all huge red flags that acceptance is your issue.
This is so critical to understand. Real self-acceptance means separating who you are from what you do. Your value as a person is constant. It doesn't go up when you have a great day at work, and it doesn't go down when you have a terrible one. Your worth is not your work.
You know, there's a huge difference between being a perfectionist and just having high standards, and it all comes down to how you handle failure. A perfectionist messes up, and the story they tell themselves is, "I am a failure." They make it about their identity. But someone who's striving for excellence, they ask a different question. Okay, that didn't work. What can I learn? How can I get better? See the difference?
And here's another huge mindset shift. It's so easy to get caught in the comparison trap, right? Looking at someone else and thinking, "Ugh, why them and not me?" But you can flip the script from comparison to emulation. Instead, you look at them and think, "Wow, they're killing it. How do they do that? Let me study their process." You literally turn their success into your personal textbook.
All right, let's move on. The next 2 drivers are all about taking back control. They're called agency and autonomy. So if acceptance is about knowing your inherent worth, these 2 are about believing in your power to actually shape your own life.
So the first piece of taking control is agency. At its core, agency is really about something called self-efficacy, which is just a fancy way of saying it's the belief that you can figure things out. It's not about already having all the skills. It's that deep down trust that you're capable of learning, of adapting, of handling whatever comes your way. It's that little voice inside that says, "Yeah, I can do this."
And the second piece of control is autonomy. And honestly, there's no better way to explain this than with the cow and the bison. So, out on the Great Plains, when a storm rolls in, cows will try to run away from it. The problem is, they can't outrun the storm, so they actually end up running with it, staying in the bad weather longer. But bison, they do the opposite. They charge directly into the storm. It's intense, for sure, but they get through it way faster. So the question is, when challenges show up in your life, are you a cow or a bison?
This quote, man, this just nails it when it comes to agency. Paula Scher, she's a legendary designer, and she famously sketched the Citibank logo on a napkin in a few seconds. When the clients questioned the fee for something that took so little time, she said, "It's done in a second and 34 years." So many of us undervalue our own expertise because our skills feel easy to us. Remembering your own 34 years of experience is a killer way to boost your sense of agency.
Okay, so we've done the diagnosis. Enough theory. Let's get into the practical stuff, the tools you can use right now to start rewiring these patterns. This is all about building that fourth crucial driver we mentioned at the start, adaptability. This is the skill of actually responding to life's challenges in a constructive way.
First tool, you need to become the editor of your own life story. Look, you can't change the facts of your past, but you can 100% change the meaning you give them. Think of a limiting story you tell yourself about a past failure or setback. Now consciously re-edit that narrative. Rewrite it to focus on what you learned, on how you grew, on how that experience made you stronger. This is adaptability in action.
And if you're ever feeling totally stuck and powerless, this little exercise is an absolute game changer. It's called the I could, I will list. On one side of a piece of paper, you just brainstorm everything you could possibly do. Don't filter, just get it all out. This opens your mind up. Then, on the other side, you look at that big list and you choose just 1 to 3 things you will do. Right now, today. This takes you from being overwhelmed to being focused and taking real, intentional action.
So at the end of the day, it all really just boils down to this one question. Your life is a story that's being written every single day. You can let your old doubts and your invisible scars keep writing it for you, or you can decide to pick up the pen and become the author. The choice is yours.